So just some things that I want to do, and we'll have some pauses as I go through to for questions and things. But I wanted to kind of just go through our awards process, give you some information. We may have new members who will be first time award um, participants this year. This may just be a good review for everyone. So some things we're going to cover today are where to find the awards information, basic criteria for all of our awards, our Communicator Awards, our specialty awards. Want to make sure I remind you about which awards have money, because that's always a nice perk, and then also our service awards. So where are our awards found? Well, there's two different ways that you can get to our awards. One is to use the direct link, which is listed on the screen there, our nae4hydp.org/page/awards. Or if you go off of our main website page, you would click on participate and then go through awards. So let's just look and see where that is. I wanted to make sure some of you may be visual like me and I need to show you how to find it. So off of our main association page, you'll click where it says participate and then go down to awards and you'll see application. Once you click on that, you'll see there in the center of the page our application site. That is the main link you're going to use to get actually into the open water system. You'll also see listed there are the awards scholarship criteria and score sheets. Right there is where a good place for you to make sure and review the criteria for the Communicator Awards and the score sheets, our specialty awards, our first time attendee award, and also that one that's towards the end of the list there that says member recognition awards at a glance. This is an overall of all of our awards, including our service awards. And this is a good one to save to your desktop as you're working on awards, or if you're the state chair and people start asking you questions, this is a good place to find hopefully all the answers to all of our awards that are available to our membership. Once you click on the awards link there, it's going to tell you to log in with your association login. Hopefully, if you know that, you can use that. If not, you may have to click on there and get a new password. But once you log in, and you can see on the side there where my name is listed, at the top of there is our NAE4HYDP awards. And you'll notice for some of you who have submitted conference proposals, this is in the same platform. And when you click on awards, you're going to go down to award applications and over to either communicator, service, or specialty, depending on which one you are submitting for. Once you click on one of those, it takes you to the, so I clicked on communicator, and you'll notice there it has the 2021 Communicator Award criteria, and then it says click here to apply. Once you click on that link, that's where you're going to actually apply for your award. So I clicked on one and just clicked on media presentation because that's going to be something that a lot of people will enter. And it'll ask you for the award you're applying for. And then all of the boxes down through there, you make sure your name is in there. Please include your phonetic spelling. That ensures that when I present your awards to you in Memphis, that I can pronounce your names correctly. And it'll ask you for attachments for your award. So make sure that you are looking over that and have all of your attachments ready to go once you get into the award system. It will let you do an incomplete award and come back and finish it if you need to. And so you can see under my name on the side there, and actually list one incomplete award where I clicked on this one. So if I really wanted to submit one, I could go back and finish that. And if not, I'm good. I could just leave it. Those will get expunged later on. And so they're not in there for you to look at again. So I'll stop there just to make sure if there's any questions about where to find our awards and how to get into the awards system. And you can drop those questions in the chat, or you can somebody could just pop in and ask a question if they need to. That much is pretty straightforward. As far as the process of logging in, nothing has changed from last year, which was really good. Cheryl did a great job of getting all of that set up for us. So there wasn't a lot of things that needed to be tweaked on that. So we appreciate her. Okay, well, let's get into our awards eligibility. All active and life members are eligible to submit awards. And I had the question this week, and this is a good place to discuss it as well. Can life members submit communication and specialty awards? And the answer is yes, with an exception. So if you have somebody in your state, or you are someone who is a recent life member, meaning you were an active member for 2020, you've retired and now have paid your life member dues, yes, you are eligible to submit communication and specialty awards. If you are a life member who's been a life member for several years, the answer is no. You are eligible for the life member award, but you are not considered an active member for the other awards. If you run across a question about that, please let me know, or one of our regional contacts know, and we'll make sure to help you clarify that. But applicants must have been an active member of the year prior to applying, as well as the current year of application. So basically, you need to have paid your dues twice, for 2020 and for 2021, to be eligible for our awards program. And our membership status is determined using the database as of January 31st. So I know states are still getting their membership in. So the counts for the service awards are at the end of the month, whatever the database number is. And of course, multi-state entries are to be submitted in the state and region of the primary applicant. So the primary applicant should come from the state with the most members on the team, or whoever was the main contact for that team. And I know that with our situation with the pandemic, there's been a lot of cross-pollination. So I'm hoping that we do see a lot of awards coming from multiple areas. Our basic awards criteria. All submissions must use the online submission process. All award applications must be submitted by 8 a.m. Eastern on March 2nd, 2021. And so you're going, why is it 8 a.m.? Well, we want to make sure that our friends who are in our far western regions, our friends who may be in Alaska and Hawaii, who are a few hours behind us, have time to get all of their submissions in as well. So that puts them a little bit in the middle of the night, but that way everybody basically should be done by midnight on March 1st. But we're going to give you to 8 a.m. Eastern. Everything that is it. No late entries accepted. Incomplete applications will be disqualified. Friends, I'm telling you, try not to be a procrastinator. I am one. I have been sitting there at February 27th, 28th, doing entries into the system as well. Your entries must have been produced or completed in the previous year, so January 1st to December 31st, unless stated in specific awards criteria. And that sometimes comes into play with our specialty awards. Previous national award winners may not enter in the same class in consecutive years, and identical entries may not be submitted in more than one class. So you need to really be strategic about your entry and make sure that it goes in the class that you think gives you the highest chance for success. And rules and guidelines for each award will be strictly enforced. Applicants will not be able to add names of team members or information to the award once it has been submitted. So please review your information, make sure you have your team members' information correct, all of your documentation uploaded, because once you click submit, that is it. For team awards, at least one member must be an NAE 4H YDP member and meet all of our eligibility requirements. Teams are limited to 10 members, that is the applicant, plus 9 other individuals. National awards will be presented at the NA4H YDP conference. Hopefully we'll get to see a lot of you in person in Memphis this fall. And the regional awards will be presented at the appropriate regional event during that conference. And unless stated in the specific award information, communicator and specialty awards will be judged at the state, region, and national levels. Let's look at our communicator awards. We have 13 different categories, and this is, I know this may be a little hard to read for some people, but I wanted to kind of remind you of the categories that we have. 5 of these do have team and individual components, so that if you are working with coworkers within your office or within your region or state, there are chances that you can submit things at the team level as well. With our communicator awards, a couple years ago, the member recognition committee, as we were meeting, I don't know if it was West Virginia or the meeting before, but we wanted to come up with a great tip sheet for the abstract. The abstracts we were getting were kind of all over the place, and it was kind of making it hard for judges to compare entries to entries. So this is the abstract tip sheet. It's located the second item on the main awards page. It tells you kind of what to include. So as you're working on your entries and working with people in your state, make sure they follow the guidelines for the abstract. Include the objectives, the target audience, the population, publishers' requirements, methods used, production cost, impact results, information the role had in the entry, and other information as needed. A question that came up with this year's member recognition committee meeting was about items that had been revised from year to year. And so it's not the identical entry being submitted over and over. So under the section that says other information as needed, this may be where you can explain that this has been a previous item that has been revised due to changing of extension logos, updated nutrition information, updated audience information, and that kind of helps the judges understand. And this is probably more of a situation within our states when we tend to use a lot of the same people judging over and over who question why this entry keeps popping up. And so make sure you include that you have done some revisions, and that will help clarify some of those things with the judge. If you click on the communicator criteria, you're going to see a huge document that has sections like this. And I pulled just a sample piece to show you. So for example, under educational piece, individual and team, the award description tells you that this is to educate through accurate, concise information on one subject. This is not promotional. So we're not promoting something, we're teaching and educating. On the final column, it tells you the submission requirements. So for educational piece, it could be multimedia. It could be like a web page, a PowerPoint, and audio. It must apply to one subject, and the entry is one piece. Piece must be uploaded with the application. If it's online, provide the link in the abstract and in the link field in the application. So as you go through each of the criteria for our Communicator Awards, it tells you pretty much how to submit and what's needed for your entry. If you also go through there and look at the scorecards, and I pulled this media presentation as an example, this is a good thing to look at before you submit your award, to really think about your entry. Did your entry, you go through each of the points, did your entry for the content, for the appearance, and just make sure that you're hitting most of those criteria. The big thing is to make sure you read up under the purpose where it talks about what programs may be used, that presentation can be live or in a recorded format. And for this one, make sure that you upload or provide a link to the presentation. So using those criteria charts and the scorecards really will help you better prepare your entries for the judging process. Are there questions on our Communicator Awards? Okay, seeing none, I'll move to the next section and we'll talk about our specialty awards. There are 27 categories that we have in our specialty award category. And to me, these are a little bit more of our programmatic awards. So I like to think of our Communicator Awards as more of our marketing pieces, things that really get people to our programs. And this is where we showcase what our programs are. And you'll see that 3 have stars on them. We'll talk about the ones that are for state to national level judging. And then there's a few little two new awards and 1 revised award we'll kind of visit just a little bit as well. Specialty awards criteria vary just a little bit from our communicator criteria. Each entry must include an abstract of 150 words or less. Please include a narrative addressing the award criteria. These narratives are limited to 3 pages or less. And the abstract and narrative may be uploaded in either Word or a PDF format. And that formatting is very similar to the abstracts for Communicator Awards. 8.5 by 11 layout with 1-inch margin, single spaced and 12-point font. Awards requiring support materials are limited to 3 pages. And we ask that you do not upload 3 pages of links to other documents or resources. This has happened in the past, and you end up having a page with 20 links on it, and each of those links are 20 more pages. And that's just, let's try to keep it to the 3 pages. So think of things like a promotional flyer, an impact statement, a news release, or photos that really do so supporting materials for your awards entry. Some awards may require additional documentation, such as letters of support. Please review each award description and score sheet for additional requirements. So some of those, for example, maybe like the military award requires a little bit thing, the Power of Youth Award. Awards that do not have the required documentation will be disqualified. So make sure that you're including all the parts to make up your award. And of course, we as a committee recognize the changing tools needed by our 4-H professionals and educators to be successful. So entries that can incorporate newer technology tools like podcasts, blogs, videos, etc., are encouraged. And I have a feeling that after the past year, where a lot of us have been working from home and really had to stop and rethink how we were presenting programs to our youth and our volunteers in our counties, that we're going to see a lot of newer technology tools being entered in our awards program this year. Once again, if you click on the criteria for the specialty awards, you're going to see a chart that lists the award's name, the requirements, and the submission requirements. And I pulled just a piece of this to show you an example. So here we have the Diversity and Inclusion Award. It shows who the sponsor is, and this one is an award with a prize money. So note that as well. It gives you the purpose to recognize outstanding effort and accomplishments in achieving and sustaining diversity in the NA4HY 4HY DP, that's a typo, sorry friends, organization, programs, and audiences. And then the submission requirements are the narrative needs to address the purpose of the program, how the program fosters an environment of diversity and inclusion, significant changes that occurred throughout the program, creative and innovative methods. And this one requires 3 letters of support, which may be from an extension administrator or supervisor. So make sure you're looking at all those criteria and submission requirements for each of these awards. Once again, those example scorecards are posted for each award. And so this is one of our new awards, and I'll show you more a little about it in a minute, is our Shooting Sports Programming Award. This tells you that the application should include the following 5 items. And the 5th one is including 3 pages of support materials, but it also tells you what they're scoring it on in the points breakdown. And this is helpful to make sure that you are putting a little bit more emphasis on those heavier weighted points on the scorecard. So there's a few things that are new for 2021. One is just a name change. The Excellence in STEM Programming Award is now the Jim Kaler Excellence in STEM Programming Award. And this was brought about by some of Jim's friends from the national level who wanted to rename this in his honor to kind of showcase his legacy, this is a great way for to remember what he did as a professional for extension programming. STEM was his big area, and we appreciate them wanting to honor his memory by renaming this award. The Military Partnership Award, that subcommittee has kind of revised the criteria. It's now going to be judged at the state, the region, and the national level. So that region part is new. And so we need to make sure that if you have persons within your state, or you are somebody who works and has a great military partnership, to consider applying for that now, because there's going to be another level of judging. The National Member Recognition Committee, when we met, made some minor revisions to the criteria for our video, our radio or audio programs, our exhibit, and media presentation. And this is mainly just to be more inclusive of some different delivery methods and making sure we get the right links posted for the judging. So those are minor revisions. But we are excited to announce 2 new awards for our membership. One of those is the Excellence in Shooting Sports Programming Award, and the other one is the Excellence in Peer Professional Development Award. So our Shooting Sports Programming Award is to recognize outstanding efforts by members in the youth development through shooting sports programming, evaluation, or research. And this award came out of the Shooting Sports Work Group, and they wanted to recognize the efforts of our memberships, because shooting sports is one of the fastest growing programs in our 4-H youth organization. I know it is in my county and my state, and I'm sure it is across everywhere else as well. And just wanted to recognize those outstanding programs. There is a sponsor for this. There will be a prize money awarded. Each regional winner will receive $200. Our national winner will also receive $200. And so this is something I would encourage people to take a look at, and then, include the programming that you do across all of the disciplines in shooting sports. Our second new award that we're excited to announce is our Excellence in Peer Professional Development Award. And this is to recognize our NAE 4-H YDP members for significant accomplishments in peer-to-peer teaching in 4-H, youth development, or other professional development topics. Delivery of professional development must be by extension professionals to their peers. So this discussion came about because we do have members in our organization who serve at the regional and state level, and even some county level professionals do this as well. We train other staff members on different topics throughout the year. And so we know that's going on. We know there's been a lot of different delivery methods, especially this year. And so we wanted to have a way to include those peer-to-peer training opportunities as one of our awards. And so this was brought before the committee for discussion. It was sent to the board. And so both of these awards were approved as a way to encourage more award submissions and involvement by our peers. So be sure to take a look at this one as well if you are someone who, especially at the regional state level, within your own state, and maybe this is something that you have done to train other staff, and you consider applying for this award. There are 3 awards that are judged at the state level, and those winners automatically advance to the national level for judging. That's our Denise Miller National 4-H Innovator Award, our Life Member Award, and the Susan Barkman Research and Evaluation Award. So those of you that are state chairs, we will have a separate webinar about moving those awards up to the region and national level, and these will automatically advance to that national level. And of course, who doesn't like a little bit of extra money, right? So the 4-H Military Partnership Award does have a $1,200 travel stipend to attend our NA 4-H YDP conference. Our Beyond Youth Leadership Award also has a $1,000 sponsored by the National 4-H Council. You must attend the conference to receive that money. Some other ones with awards include our Denise Miller National 4-H Innovator Award at $250, Diversity and Inclusion Award, which is $1,000, Excellence in Geospatial Programming Award, $750, Excellence in Workforce Development Programming Award, $100. Our shooting sports, there again, they have got a sponsor. We have added that in there. $200 for each regional winner and $200 for a national winner. And of course, our first-time attendee scholarships, which would be an early bird registration for our conference each year. So I'll stop and pause for just a moment there after those awards and see if there are any questions at this point. All right. Seeing none, we'll finish up the last few parts and we can do questions and other things at the end. Just a few other awards to bring your attention to. Our First Time Attendee Award. Conference attendee as a guest in the previous year can apply for this year. So if you were not an official member last year but still paid and attended the Idaho conference as a guest, you can still apply for the 21 First Time Attendee Award. Membership requirement, you do not have to be a previous member, but you do have to be a current member. So make sure you get your dues paid by the end of the month, and that would make you eligible to apply. The award is judged at the state and then the regional level, and up to 4 scholarships are awarded per region to attend the conference in the year the scholarship is awarded. So if you win this year, you have to attend this year. And you will be reimbursed for the early bird registration fee following the conference. So you have to attend, we have to see you, we have to recognize that you're there in person, and then you'll get your money as a reimbursement. Our service awards, we have several of those, and the selection of the service awards is done at the discretion of each state, affiliate, or unit association. So every state, and this is something that's kind of unusual when you get to thinking about national and regional awards, every state has their own way of selecting their award winners, especially service awards. Some of them do an application, some are peer voted on, some just walks around and says, raise your hand if you're interested, you're in it this year. So every state has their own process on that. So for specific state level questions, make sure you contact your state association recognition chair or president. Name information required for service awards include the name, address, state, region, and email address, 25 to 50 word biographical summary, and then a digital photo, a high quality headshot for each of those service winners. Let's look at our Achievement and Service Awards first. These are for requirements are that you pay your dues for a minimum of the immediate 2 consecutive years prior to the current year. You've served more than 3 years, but less than 7 years in extension. And our quota is based on the total paid membership, including living life members, by January 31st. So states or units may select one ASA recipient for every 50 paid members. So 1 to 50 members is one ASA, 51 to 100 is two, and so on up the numbers. If you have questions about your membership, you need to get this straight by the end of the month to make sure that you are getting the correct number of ASAs for your state. Our DSA, or our Distinguished Service Award, is very similar in the criteria, except for now we're looking for those members who have served more than 7 years in extension. And so the DSA quota is once again based on membership by January 31st, and the count is the same. 1 to 50 is 1, 51 to 100 is 2, and so on. Our MSA, or Meritorious Service Award, and we're looking for dues paid for a member of 4 consecutive years. And now we're looking for those members who have served 15 or more years in extension 4-H youth development programs. You want to think about the person in your state that's demonstrated innovative youth programming and leadership in NAE 4-H YDP at the state, regional, and or national level. The applicant must have previously received the DSA award before applying for the MSA. And there's only one awarded each year per state or unit or territory. Our final service award is our 25-year award. Members must have paid their dues for a minimum of the immediate 4 consecutive years prior to the current year, served 25 years or more in Extension 4-H youth development programs, and there is no limit per state on the number given. So that's basically up to you and your state and your membership if you want to recognize all the 25 years every year, or if you want to scatter them out. There is no limit to how many you can submit to us for award presentation. I will say that we do have a great group of people who serve as our regional chairs for member recognition, and they will be, a lot of them have been in touch with our state chairs already about some information and updating lists. If you've not heard from these people, you may want to drop them a line and just say, I'm the member recognition chair for our state, and are there any updates? And so some of these areas we are looking for people to serve as our chair-elects. And so if you're interested, contact one of them or contact me, and we would love to have you work with our member recognition team. So final reminder, this is like huge, right? If you need to screenshot this, hang it up on your wall, put it in your planner, tape it to your fridge, whatever you do to remember stuff. But all awards applications must be submitted by 8 a.m. Eastern, March 2nd. No exceptions. All of them have to be in there. And then from there, we're going to start the judging, get our judges in there, the judging process. So we need everybody to follow that deadline. If you have questions later on and want to, ask me something that maybe comes up after you've watched the webinar, once again, I'm Melissa Henry in Tennessee. I'm our Member Recognition Committee National Chair. There's my email. I'm currently in between working at the office and working from home. So email is probably the best way to catch me, and I'll do my best to get back with you as soon as I can with questions. I'm still kind of using Cheryl Newberry, our past chair, for a little bit of institutional knowledge, if you will. So there may be a couple things I kind of have to dig around and find, but usually most questions I can answer pretty straightforward. So that is the end of my slides. So I will stop sharing and then we'll see if we have questions. I know the chat popped up. Would you be willing to share your slides with us so we can be consistent? Yes. This is being recorded, and I'm also, I will share the slides to be posted on the website. So that way, if anyone would like to use them to kind of go through and share the information with their states, that would be great. Absolutely. Other questions at this time? I'll be glad to. Yes, I think there was one little, somebody has asked a question about a typo, and I thought we had fixed that, but I will write that down and make sure that that is updated. Somebody thinks there's a discrepancy between the Communicator Award criteria. I'll tell you what, that's not an easy process to go through and update everything. And I will be honest, I am a human being and I probably have missed something, but I will definitely check on that. I'm writing that down right now. Yes, service awards get submitted about that time as well. So make sure we get those people in there. I know that for some of you that may be a tight turnaround, but please follow those guidelines to make sure that we're consistent with all of that, because some states do have a judging process for their service awards. Other questions? I don't want to keep everyone if they're, and we have scheduled an hour of time, but I don't want to keep everybody if there's no questions. Will you explain again about submitting the same award for multiple categories? Right, so we can't do that. I'll give you an example from our for like Communicator Awards. If you have something that maybe is a media presentation and you have to decide, is it media presentation or is it educational piece? Or if it's a media presentation, is it promotional piece? You can't enter it in both. You've got to decide which one it better fits into. Same thing with specialty awards. We had someone who contacted me last year within our state who had an award that included volunteers, but it also included some innovative programming they had done. So they had to decide which direction they felt the award would be better suited for. And so they kind of you have to pick and choose. So make sure that you are picking the category that best fits the award that you're submitting. Let me try to get to everybody's questions here. Does the awards chair for each state submit awards for all applicants? So each person submits their applications to the system, and then the state chair will arrange for judging of all of those. And then the state chair from there will go ahead and will advance the winners. And so each person will, like if I wanted to submit awards, I will personally log into the system. I will upload my award, my documentation, and then our state chair will decide if my award is complete and then send it on with the judging in the state system. And so the states will have a separate webinar for state chairs to go over advancing your awards and the judging process. And that'll be here in a few weeks into February. Let's see, did I miss one? Yes, it would be helpful if we could get all the service award winners in by March 2nd. I know that there's kind of been some questions about that before. That goes back to the states that do have a judging process for that. So we need to make sure that we have all those in there. We're using just a little bit different timeline. And so if we need that week after that for all the judges' names to be submitted by the states, and the judging will start pretty soon after that. So there's not going to be a lot of time to make sure everybody's are in there. For team members, what if a livestock agent or other agents helped create, but they are not members? Yes, you can list them as a team member, but you need to, so if you're submitting the award, you're the member of the association, and you can have team members that are non-members. And so, yes, you can include your livestock agents and other people who have helped you create the program or the piece. Can you submit more than one award for the same event, but writing it differently? Ooh, somebody's trying to get a little tricky here. Let's say you have this big event and you have a promotional flyer for that event, you have a media presentation during the event, and you have a printed program for that event. Then each of those little pieces could be submitted separately, but let's try not to just keep submitting the same little piece of information in all the same categories. Especially in the specialty awards, make sure the award fits the criteria. I know we had some questions last year with judging. The award had made it past the state level, but it really didn't fit the criteria for that was posted for that specialty award, and it was kicked out at the region level. I'll just be honest with you. There was a couple of awards that got kicked out at the region who shouldn't have made it past the state. In the past for service awards. Yes, that goes back to each state doing it different. And so if you have a peer review process or a peer voting process in your state, then you will just submit your state winners into the system. Yes, state.
From Pennsylvania. Can I talk and ask the question?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm confused about the service awards. So if we have to submit them by March 2nd, if we are judging them at the state, should we have, are you saying we should have an earlier deadline so that we can submit the winners by March 2nd?
Yes, I may have to double check with Cheryl on that one. The way I understood with our new system and the way we're doing this, that everything needs to be in by March 2nd because of our judging process. Let me double check, and then I can always send something, post that out through our regional contacts to the states.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I'm sorry to be just a little hesitant on that one. But I believe that's what we had decided last year, that everything needed to be in. For specialty awards, is there any designations between individual or teams? No, for specialty award, they're all judged together, whether it's an individual or team. Yeah, several people need the service award question. I will work on that and get a definite answer out to everyone. Like I said, I'm new to this. I just took over right before Christmas, so I'm still learning all the nuances of the service awards. What we do in Tennessee is totally different. Ours are peer voted on, and then our state recognition chair uploads the winners into the system. So it's a little bit different here. So other questions or thoughts? I'll be glad to stay on a few minutes if anybody else has questions. I appreciate all the good questions and the information that you guys are sharing. Is there a way that if awards get kicked out? I don't know if, there's a chat box that's going crazy. I don't know last year if that person was notified or not. But we can try to see, I can check on that and see. We're still trying to figure out a way to make sure the scores and the comments get back to people, but that's not quite worked out just yet. So are you saying if the award gets kicked out to let the state contact know, or let the person know who submitted it? I think that was Jody that asked that question. Yes, okay. We'll work on that as well. That's a good question. Can the state forward both an individual and team for the same award? No. The exception would be the Communicator Awards. You could have an individual and team for like periodical publication, for educational piece, package, promotional piece and package, but not for the specialty awards. There needs to be one winner per category. Yes, Florida, and everybody would like to have score sheets. That's something I ask a lot when I was submitting several awards prior to moving up to leadership, was, can I have a little feedback? You know, we'd all like to see that. So that's something I know that we're working on for future, is being able to share the scorecards. Okay, other questions or thoughts? And feel free to just jump in and talk if you would like. I feel like I've done all the talking for the past 45 minutes. It's good to see so many people on here and know that we have a lot of interest in our awards program. I think it's one of the important things we do as our membership is to recognize our peers for the great programming efforts they do with our youth audiences and our volunteers across all of our states. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Okay. If there's no other questions, we will stop there. And like I said, you have my email. I'm also listed on the website. Please reach out if there's questions. I will look forward to doing some updates on some other things and get these out through our regional and state contacts. So thank you all for attending today. Have a great week.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Cheryl.